Hi guys, it's Fentony. This is going to be my episode 3 The Queen's Justice video, so if you've not seen the episode yet, I wouldn't watch this video as this video will be full of spoilers, so come back after you've seen it. Number 10, Jon Snow lands at Dragonstone and meets Tyrion. The episode kicks off with Jon Snow landing at Dragonstone and he meets with Tyrion and Melisandre and some Dothraki. I've been waiting for Tyrion and Jon Snow to meet up again for a long time. They met at Winterfell in season 1 and they did travel to the wall together. You can tell they're happy to see each other, and we get lines from Tyrion such as, "The bastard of Winterfell," and Jon says, "The dwarf of Casterly Rock." These two like each other, but they have important business to deal with. Jon and his men are disarmed, and their boat is taken. Jon Snow does give up Longclaw, and you can tell he's not too happy with this. He's gonna need it for the long night, as it is Valyrian steel, and he has become quite attached to the blade. Tyrion asks about Sansa, and he's glad she's doing well, and that she's becoming very smart. Tyrion has always known that Sansa had the potential, and it seems like now she's showing it. Tyrion does ask the most important question in the world: how does a brother of the Night's Watch become king in the north? But Jon Snow wants to know how a Lannister became Hand of the Queen for Daenerys Targaryen. Tyrion does say he was drunk for most of it. Jon is worried though that he's made a mistake by coming south, and Tyrion even says Stark men don't fare well when they travel south. Tyrion is talking about Ned and his father and brother. Ned was beheaded by Joffrey, and Brandon and Rickard Stark were murdered by the Mad King. No wonder Jon feels a bit unsure here. The next bit is a massive tease. Jon Snow says he isn't a Stark, then the dragons fly overhead. Yes Jon, you are a Snow, but really, you're a Targaryen. And number 9, Melisandre and Varys on the cliffs. Melisandre stays away and tells Varys that she's done her part, bringing ice and fire together, but Varys is wondering why she's not meeting Jon Snow. She admits that she made some terrible mistakes, and that she didn't really part on good ways with Jon. Burning Shireen comes to mind here, doesn't it? Melisandre's leaving for Volantis, and Varys does tell her not to come back, but she says she will, as she needs to die in Westeros, just like Varys. Varys is lost for words, and we know he doesn't like magic, and he's had run-ins with Red Priestesses before, such as Kinvara in season 6, when she talked about him losing his parts, and she knew exactly what was said in the flames, and who said it. Number 8, the big Jon Snow and Daenerys meeting. Dany gets her intro with all her titles, but Davos keeps it simple. This is Jon Snow, he is king in the north. Dany refuses to call him king, she keeps calling him lord, and even mentions that Torrhen Stark, Jon's ancestor, bent the knee to Aegon the Conqueror, and because of that, Jon Snow should bend the knee to her, but Jon won't do it. He says the Starks were loyal to the Targaryens, but the Mad King burned his grandfather and uncle. Daenerys does apologise on the behalf of House Targaryen for this crime, and just like in episode 1, when Jon said it, Dany says Jon should not judge her, a daughter, by the sins of her father. That's a callback to when Jon defended Alice Karstark and Ned Umber. And we get even more Targaryen teases, as Dany says she is the last Targaryen. I expect we're gonna get several more before we get the big reveal that Jon Snow is actually Rhaegar's son. Dany wants Jon to join her and beat Cersei, and she even says she will name him Warden of the North. He mentions the Army of the Dead and the White Walkers, but Dany seems a bit unsure, and she looks at him like, are you crazy? Dany does get off the throne and she mentions all that she's been through. Davos does give another good speech to counteract this, telling her all the stuff that Jon Snow's been through, but Jon cuts him off when he tries to mention the fact that Jon died. That would make Jon sound even more crazy. Jon is basically a prisoner on the island, even though Dany says he isn't one yet. This meeting has been written and thought about many times, and I can see some people not being happy with it. Dany and Jon didn't fall in love at first sight, and I'm so happy this didn't happen. This meeting is exactly how it should have been. Both of them don't know each other, and they have their own goals. Dany wants the Iron Throne, and Jon wants to save the world. This is just the first meeting, and I do expect them to become closer by the end of the season. Number 7, Cersei's Justice. Euron parades Yara, Ellaria and Tyene in King's Landing, and he brings them to Cersei. Euron is given a hero's welcome just like Tywin did after the Battle of Blackwater, and Euron gives Cersei Ellaria's hand, and she's loving it. Euron takes even more jabs at Jaime by saying he has given Cersei something no other man can. Euron even asks Jaime for advice about having sex with Cersei. Finger in the bum. Cersei does agree to give Euron his heart's desire, only after the war is won. Cersei has Ellaria and Tyene's hand chained in the dungeons. Cersei talks about Oberyn and how he could have beaten the mountain. It was obvious that Cersei had something on her lips, and it's actually poison. She kisses Tyene, and in the same way Marcella died, Tyene will suffer and die slowly in front of her mother. Ellaria won't be killed though. She will live the rest of her life in the cells, and that could be many years. But I did expect Cersei to tell Ellaria that the Mountain would visit her every night. She did send the Mountain in, and we do think he raped Septa Olenna back in season 6, so I was thinking we might see something like that. Number 6, Cersei and the Iron Bank. Tycho Nestoris has come for the money that the Crown owes the Iron Bank. I love how Cersei claims the destruction of the Sept of Baelor was a tragic accident. Cersei was on fire this episode. She's very confident in herself, and Tycho does tell her though, Euron Greyjoy is loyal, for now. I have no doubt that Cersei knows this, and she has a plan for Euron when the time comes. Tycho is staying in King's Landing for now, so we should see him again. Number 5, more Jon Snow and Daenerys. Tyrion has more great lines here. He says Jon Snow is a better brooder than him. Jon is actually stuck on Dragonstone as he has no ship. Tyrion says he does believe Jon Snow about the White Walkers as he trusts Jon Snow. Tyrion agrees to get Jon Dragonglass. Another subtle hint here. Dany thinks Tyrion is presenting his own statements as ancient wisdom, and Tyrion replies, "This I would never do to you." Peter Dinklage has mentioned that Tyrion has feelings for Dany, and this scene was hinting at it big time. So Jon Snow and Dany meet one last time outside, and she allows him to mine the Dragonglass, but she won't say that she believes him. But we do get another Targaryen hint, as Daenerys does tell Jon the 2 dragons are called Rhaegal and Viserion, and they're named after her brothers. The second Jon and Dany meeting is less formal, and it's actually in private, and I expect more in the future, and they will become close. So number 4, Bran returns to Winterfell. So Sansa is running the day-to-day matters of Winterfell, and she's preparing the north for the long night. Littlefinger gets Sansa on her own, and he says the line from the trailer about everyone is your friend, blah blah blah. Where is Littlefinger going with this? He has been written pretty weak this season, but anyways, Bran is back. Sansa is happy to see her brother, but Bran actually shows little emotion. They do sit at the weirwood tree. Bran wants to speak to Jon Snow, and Sansa actually says that Bran, being a Stark and the last true-born son of Ned, is the Lord of Winterfell, but Bran says he is the Three-Eyed Raven. He tries to explain what the Three-Eyed Raven is, but he just confuses Sansa, so he actually tells her that he has seen her wedding night with Ramsay, and this freaks Sansa out. He's just told his sister that he's went back and seen her get raped. Number 3, Jorah is cured. Jorah has been examined by the Archmaester, and he has been cured. We did get a heartwarming scene between Jorah and Sam, and Jorah thanks him and shakes his hand, and he is going to see Daenerys, as he has done exactly what she said. She commanded him to cure himself. The Archmaester does suspect that Sam had something to do with Jorah, but he is impressed by Sam, but Sam did break the rules, and as punishment, Sam is to make copies of old scrolls. What's the odds that Sam finds Rhaegar and Lyanna's marriage certificate in some of these scrolls, or perhaps in other pages? I feel the cure for grayscale was a bit of a letdown. It was basically remove the infected skin and apply some ointment. There was lots of theories about Dragonglass, but I guess not. And number 2, the battle at Casterly Rock. Dany wants to hit Euron's ships now with the 3 dragons, but Tyrion doesn't want her going, as one arrow would kill her, as she is an easy target. The way the show does it, they have Tyrion narrate the battle, and he uses tunnels that he used to sneak prostitutes in when he was in charge of the sewers, and we get even more callbacks when Tyrion quotes Bronn from season 1 when he says, "Give me 10 good men and I'll impregnate the bitch." The battle is short and the Unsullied win, but Grey Worm notices that there are not 10,000 men guarding the castle like Tyrion said, and he looks out to sea, and Euron Greyjoy has destroyed the Targaryen ships, and the Unsullied are trapped on Casterly Rock. The battle was hyped up big in the trailers, but Casterly Rock looked a bit boring and bland. It was meant to be massive and 3 times the height of the wall, but it didn't look very impressive, just like a generic castle. And number 1, Jaime takes High Garden, but Lady Olenna has the last laugh. Jaime's mistake was falling for Robb's plan in season 1. Robb split his army up and gave up men and position to Tywin so he could surprise Jaime and defeat him at the Whispering Wood. Randall, Tarly and Bronn are there as well, but we only really see the aftermath of the battle. Jaime walks up to the city and he confronts Lady Olenna and he tells her his tactic of sacrificing Casterly Rock as it's not really important anymore, but he will get it back. Olenna tells Jaime that his love for Cersei will be his end and she is a disease. Jaime has Widow's Wail, which Olenna points out, and that's Joffrey's Valyrian steel sword. And this is the conversation starter, and it brings it on to Joffrey. You see, Cersei wanted Olenna to suffer, but Jaime convinced her to allow him to poison her, and Olenna takes the poison, and then admits that she was the one that poisoned Joffrey. Jaime is shocked, and he's just let the woman who killed his son go the easy way out. This is the best episode of season 7 by far. Cersei was the MVP, but Lady Olenna was a close number 2. I'm quite glad how the big Jon and Daenerys meeting went. I think they will start developing feelings for each other, but not right now. I loved all the dragons and Targaryen hints with Jon Snow. There are lots of positives in this episode. Cersei, Tyrion, Bran, Davos, Jon and Dany, all the callbacks. And of course, Lady Olenna. She will be missed. This episode's not perfect. Casterly Rock didn't look very good, and the 2 battles were hyped up to be pretty big, but most of it happened off screen. I guess HBO is trying to save the budget for later on, and from the trailers we know they'll need it. So what do you think? What was your favourite moment in the episode, and who was the best character for you? Cersei for me. The episode is partially named after her, and I think this is one of her best episodes ever. Cersei is winning the war, and I'm sure Daenerys is going to get desperate. So leave all your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it, and if you've not already done so, hit that subscribe button for more Game of Thrones Season 7 videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.